Hello future teachers, how are you? Before I start this presentation, I have a question for you. If you have a material that you have to cover but you don't have a lot of time, what will you do? And in other hand, you also have to help your student to move from low order thinking skills into higher order thinking skills. So, is that possible to bring these two responsibilities at the same time? Answer is yes, you can do it. That's why here our group will help you to understand about chapter 13 that talks about cooperative learning model. So, in Teaching Redemptively chapter 17, we have learned about how students learn. Students learn from whole, details, and whole. In our instructional model, we can apply this concept because in cooperative learning model, we will give students a big picture. Then we will assign them with putting them into groups, and each group will talk about every details about the big picture. At the end, we will connect and gather all the details back again into one big picture. By using this system, students can improve their thinking process and their social skills. And we will learn deeper about the function and benefit of the systems.
As Orlando said, that cooperative learning models is to improving students' learning using small group. These models also has function for students, which is reach content goal, opportunity to develop learning skills or high-level thinking, and develop their skills and personal skills. School is the way for us to develop our knowledge, to develop our learning skills, which means this model also has function for students to develop their learning skills. So teacher just put students in a small group and students will share their information with their friends or what they have learned in the subject or in the class. And it can be the way for students to develop or to improve their self-confidence, to share their information, their opinion with their friends.
So as Pika discussed the benefits and the function of cooperative learning, now I will discuss the 5 elements of cooperative learning. So the first one is the positive interdependence. This first element ensures that all of the students will have the equally distributed share of work. So they have the balanced and proportionate work and they can cooperate with each other. Relating this model to the Teaching Redemptively, we choose the chapter 23. Chapter 23 states that students work carefully in an organized group wherein they can cooperate with each other. And it also states there that no one is allowed to dictate or do all the work, and no one is allowed to be silent and contribute nothing. So this means that even teachers give or put leaders within the group, all of the students must contribute or cooperate with each other. So we as teachers, we must build this positive interdependence within our classroom. The second element is individual accountability. Just like what I've said in Teaching Redemptively, chapter 22, no one is allowed to be silent and contribute nothing. So it means that even the teacher assigned the leader within the group, they must cooperate with each other and build the unity to build a strong new ideas or to have each other's opinions. So we as a teacher must teach the students that even if it's a group work, they must be graded individually so the students will know they are accountable with their own responsibility and their own learning. So the third element is kind of familiar with us, especially to teachers and students. It is the third element, face-to-face interaction. So as we now facing the new challenges in our educational system, because of the COVID-19, we are now having this hybrid classes, which combination of face-to-face interaction and then online learning. But me as a student, just right now, I am facing difficulties in my online experience or on my online learning. So I experienced that I am not comfortable sharing in our breakout room, even if we are small, even we only 3 persons there. I am not still comfortable because I cannot see my classmates' facial expressions, their reactions and response. I cannot understand it well, especially the teachers in the online class. So when I experience having the face-to-face class right now, I now experience that I am more comfortable sharing my ideas, my opinions within that context or within that activity. So these face-to-face interactions as we build this in our cooperative learning, this will help our students to engage more, to communicate well with their students or with their fellow classmates and also to the teachers. So this face-to-face interaction not just build inside the classroom, but also we will help them to build their confidence, to engage more, to talk more, because there are some students that are not comfortable in during discussions, right? I know some of the students here will relate that they cannot speak well when it comes in discussion when the teacher is asking them, but when it comes to small groups, they are now comfortable and confident to share their information and act. So the fourth element is teaching social skills. So this fourth element is quite also familiar with the face-to-face interaction, but this focuses on social skills within the students and teachers. So this fourth element is very important to the students because these skills is not just can be help them inside the classroom, but also preparing them for the outside situation or, for example, like real-life situation, right? So we as the teachers, we want them not just to be successful inside the classroom, but we want to ensure that their future vocation and occupational is successful as well. So as a teacher, we must build these teaching social skills, or we must teach them the social skills so we can build them the good speaking skills and communication, interpersonal communication, and they can apply when it comes in their work. Because interpersonal skills is very important in their working environment. So the fifth element or the last element is group processing. This will happen when the activity met the goal of cooperative learning that ensues or happening through discussion. So discussion will help the students to share their prior information or prior knowledge to build strong new ideas. So discussion will help the students to connect with their fellow classmates. So it will improve their critical thinking and build strong connection with their classmates. So that's the 5 elements of cooperative learning.
In this chapter, there are 4 types of cooperative learning styles it described: the gravity models, the jigsaw models, and academic controversy models. And the fourth one, the students' team achievement revision STAD models. In the jigsaw models, students are forced to piece their pieces to reach learning targets to form a complete picture. It has two large groups called expert groups and learning groups. In the expert group, students have to study the same materials until they expert or mastery on that topic, and they have to prepare the outlines and summarize the information in their units. And the learning groups is tutoring by the expert groups until all the individual members get the point of that topic. So it has 7 steps. Introduce the jigsaw, and step 2, the students will divide into experts and learning groups. In the step 3, explain the tasks to the expert groups and assemble the expert groups. And step 4, allow expert groups to process the information later they will share to the learning groups. And step 5, experts teach the material to the learning group. And step 6, hold individual accountability. And step 7, evaluate the jigsaw process.
Okay, future teachers, you already know about the concept of cooperative learning model, but how do we put it into action? There are 2 steps that you have to take. The first is planning, and the second one is implementation. For planning, the first thing that you have to consider is setting a clear goal. You have to use a SMART objective for this. Then, in the second one, you have to consider and plan the size and the composition of the group. In order to be effective, the maximum member of each group is 4 people. And you have to consider that the members in every group is diverse. And while designing the activity, you have to make sure that 5 elements that already been explained by Maranatha is concluded in your activity. Now we can move into implementation steps. In implementation step, you have to put a clear procedures to students. After you give a clarification about the tasks that they have to do, you have to remind them about the purpose of this group work, the element that they have to achieve. Then, during the group work, you have to give a feedback and monitoring around the student. You have to make sure that every student can do the task well in the group work. And also, it can help you to understand the condition and the current understanding of your student. You can form their understanding and give them a new insight in order to synthesize a new information and concept for them to move to higher pedagogy level. After they finish to analyzing and collecting the data, now it's your time to give them instruction to summarize or synthesize the thing that they already discussed. Then, at the end of their group work, maybe you can give some evaluation or general feedback to all the groups. Now we want to demonstrate about one of the types of cooperative learning model. We will learn about how to apply Jigsaw in our classroom. First, the planning model. Before you start the Jigsaw activity, you have to make sure you have an objective. After making a clear objective, you have to make sure the composition of the member. You have to make sure that the member of each group is diverse and come from different background and different level of thinking. Then, after arranging the position of each member, you have to understand to put every element of cooperative learning model into your activity. So in Jigsaw, you have to define several topics. Each topic is assigned to each group. After the group finish their summary, you will create a new group where every member is consisted from different group, the previous different group. Then, every student will explain what they have learned from the previous group into a member who comes from a different group. So, every student comes with a new information and they will understand from every side of material together.